Hey crafters, this is Mai. Today what we are going to do is we are going to assemble a 3D pencil crayon box, okay? So this is what our final project will look like. And so I just wanted you to see, I've made a couple of them already. So what we are gonna do is we're gonna get started right away. Let me run through our supplies here. I've got my art glitter glue that I will be using for all of my gluing. And you are definitely going to want to either have a ruler or a bone folder. I'm going to recommend having the bone folder for this one and not the ruler, only because we really are going to need all of those score lines to be perfect today, sharp and crisp and just really on point. But if you have the ruler, I'm going to give you a tip on how to get it perfect. All right. And as you can see, I have all of my pieces cut out here and they are ready for gluing. Now let's start here first with the base. As you can see, I have all of my score lines, they're ready. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and fold along those score lines. And so as you can see, I've just begun my fold here and I'm using my finger to press it down. Now, if you have your ruler and not a bone folder, what I want you to do is really come in with that ruler and press down on that score line and make sure that it's really sharp here. We really want to make sure that our score lines today are perfect because it will help with the shape of our box. So I did that one there with the ruler. I'm going to do the next one right here. And this one I'm going to use my bone folder for. And again, the bone folder just makes it a little bit easier, but if you have the ruler, go ahead and use the ruler. All right, so that's number 2. I'm going to do this one here, and again, pressing it down. And then my 4th one, and pressing it down. And then this one right here. All right. Now we have one more that's really long that needs to be done, and that's going to be our tab right here. Now this one is going to be really tricky because there's not a lot of material for us to fold. So just really kind of take your time with your fingers to start it and then come back in. I might bend mine the other way too, just to make sure that I get it there. And then come back in with your bone folder and really press this one down. Okay. All right, so there we go. Now we want to make sure that we go ahead and we do the tabs. This is the base here. And then for the tabs, just flip them up. Now, you don't have to use the bone folder or your ruler for this part because this is good enough with your fingers. And once you get them all, kind of give your shape here a little bit of a curve so you can see it. And now we're ready to glue. Okay, so when we start gluing, what we're going to do is just add the glue right along to the tab. And then we're going to press it right down on top, making sure that the lines are really matching up here. And then once you're ready, just move on to the next tab and work your way all the way around. Use your finger, the edge of your finger here, just to make sure that everything is lining up. You're getting those 90-degree angles and it's all flush. And again, just making sure it's lining up there. That one got on the side. Eager beaver. All right. And if you have excess glue, you can just use your finger to just wipe it. Again, make sure that it's lining up. Okay, so when you get ready to do the last one, you want to make sure that this longer tab is tucked in, and then add your glue to the tab. Making sure that it's all lining up, and then flip it and add the glue to the tab. Now remember, there's not a lot of paper there for gluing, so you're definitely just going to want to take your time with it. So I'm going to start at the top here to make sure that my two are lining up and meeting. And then I'm using my hand and I'm going through on the inside. And then I'm also pressing here along the side on the outside. When you have most of it, what you can do is if you see any spots that didn't glue, just kind of go back in, and then you can take your bone folder, set it down onto the ground so that way the tab is there, and take your bone folder and just look in and press it down all the way to the edge. And if you need to, flip it to the other side and just press it down there. And so you can see, right? Okay, so that takes our shape there. Perfect. Okay, so now for the top. Again, so you can see all of the score lines, and this is another one where you can start everything off with your fingers, and you can begin to fold. And just continue to fold right along all of those score lines there. And going all the way to the very end. Okay. So this is just another fun back to school one for us. All right, so when you have it, what you want to do then is just kind of fold it again and make sure that they line up here. So if you're not getting that perfect line, then just keep going, fold it, you know, whichever way you want it to be. I'm going to line mine up just like that. Then we're going to take the glue again and add it to the tab. And then just make sure that the sides are matching and lining it up. Okay. Now, the bottom parts also have these little tiny tabs as well as a tab itself right here. What you want to do is just kind of begin to fold those as well. You could do all of this at the start when you start folding before you have glued it, but I'm just choosing to do it this way because I already have my shape. So I'm just going around and I'm folding it to get it all going, and then I'm going to go back and glue the tabs. Well, only the smaller tab. All right. So I have that one, and then this one here, and two more. Again, just folding along the tabs. If you wanted to too, you could, when you were first folding this part, you could use your bone folder or your ruler to get these going as well. But again, this one is easy enough that you could do it with your fingers. Okay, and then once you have it all, you want to take your glue and just add it so that way it all lines up. And then press and hold as well. See that one popped up already? Press and hold and give it a chance for the paper to adhere to each other. And if you feel glue on the other side, that's okay. I always end up with glue on my fingers anyway when I'm crafting. It's just part of it. It's part of the process. It's better to have paper glue than hot glue. Hot glue is not fun. All right, so two more to go. And just press and hold it. 5 seconds should be enough. If you need to hold it longer, then that's okay too. And there's the lid. And so it'll sit right on top. Okay, so it's fun. All right, so now let's do the sides. Now the sides are just a fun way to add a little bit more to it. Before I started the video, I went ahead and I did 4 of these. What you want to do though, is you want to make sure that you take all of the top pieces and you line them up so that way you can see all the way through. If you don't line them up, like you'll see that they'll create a crisscross pattern. And then when you go to put it on, it'll look a little different. And that's, again, probably just going to be personal choice. You can totally go ahead and do that if you want. That's fine. But if you want, you do want to make sure that they're all kind of going the same order. So you can see these here. I already have those, and then these would line up right on top. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and glue them. So I'm going to take the top one, flip it over, and then go and add my glue. And so you don't have to go crazy with the glue on the back. I'm not even going to do in between the sides there, but I am going to grab this whole big piece right there. And when you go to add the black, or you could use a different color underneath, you do want to make sure that you're holding it between your fingers so that way you get it lined up just right. And you don't have to worry about it. And remember that if it's a little bit off, you've got your 5 seconds to move things around before it's stuck. All right, so there's that one. And then this one here. So again, just adding the glue to the back here. And holding it now between my fingers. So I've got the 3 sides here, 3 of my fingers here in the corner. And then I'm just putting this one right on top and just pressing it in. And there we go. Okay, so I'm going to keep these in the same orientation. Hopefully you can see all of these and I didn't go too far off screen. And now what we're going to do is we're going to glue it to this part. So when you go and you have the lid on, you can see that this top part doesn't come down super far, and I did that on purpose. So that way, you know, these can kind of sit and there's a little bit of room. It's your choice how far down to the bottom you want it or how far up to the top. I'm kind of aiming a little bit for the middle. So I'm going to go right about there. If you really wanted precision with this, when you first start, you can glue these down right away before you start to fold this containers part. You can glue it down. You can use a ruler and have it lined up and just glue them all down first and then fold. That's an option too if you're like all about precision. I'm okay to just eyeball these here. So I'm going to lift it up, add my glue, and then just press it down. Okay, I'm going to take the lid off now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate it. And I'm going to use the one here on the side as my guide. And just to kind of get it in the, again, the right spot. So I'm keeping my orientation. And also so I'm not going like this and too high or too low. And just flipping it again. And again, using that side as my guide. And just pressing it down, flipping. All right. And then pressing it down again. And that part needs a little bit more here. It's sticking up. And got glue seeping, so just wipe any excess glue. And then 2 more to go. And then using, again, just that same side, the previous side as my guide for the side that I'm gluing. And then the last one. Alrighty. And there it is. And so it just adds a little bit more of a decorating element to the box. I have a little bit popping up right there. So I just added some more glue in there and then just pressed it down. And so you can see it right there. Okay. And so I've got my lid and that really finishes it. So you can stop here if you want, and then you can take like your pencils and you can see like it'll fit your pencils, it'll fit some pens, and it just adds a little bit of something cute that you could put on your craft table, or, you know, something again for the kids. I'm going to take mine a step further. So I'm going to just take these out for a moment, and I'm going to put my son's name right here inside the black part. Now, I did it with my pink one. You can see right there, I did my daughter's name. So I'm going to do the same thing here with my son's name. Now, you'll need tweezers. You can cut the names out if you're going to personalize yours with any font choice that you want. I'm just going to show you how to do this if you want to do it, depending on the length of your name that you're going to add. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my tweezers, and I'm going to pick this up, and I'm going to use my glue now and just add a dab of glue to the letter. Now, when you go to do it, you don't need a lot of glue, and it is going to seep. So I'm going to add it right about there, and then just press it down. When I do the first letter, instead of going all the way across, I'm actually going to do the last letter. So I'm going to go back and forth. And the reason why you're going to go back and forth is because if you start all the way here at one side and then you go all the way across, you might actually put the letters too close together, and then you end up with a gap on one side. But if you go back and forth, then what will happen is you can create your own gap and distance between the letters, and it will fill in nicely. So you're maximizing your space. That's good enough for that. And then it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going all kinds of heights here, like I'm putting that one down. And then for the other one, I might put it up high, only because it just adds a little bit of change to the eye when you go to look at it. So I'm going to put this one up high. And then let's do the T. And remember too, not a lot of glue. I have a lot of glue at the tip of my nozzle there. And I should have added a lot more space in between those two. So it's actually going to be a little off. I got it on my glue there. And now for this T, let's tilt this one too. It'll help to take up some of that space. And then for the last one with the H, and there we go. So this is just a step that if you wanted to personalize yours, you could do it. And it just adds a little bit something more fun to the container. So you can see it right there. And if you're using like the art glitter glue like I am, you'll see that all the glue that's seeping through, it dries. It's all clear. And so I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this craft. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and happy crafting.